We must be getting somewhere because we've now got some sponsors for the From Nowhere to Somewhere podcast. For this episode with Rico Franco, we've got my great friend, Dean Thomas, part of my West London Rams teammate crew. Thank you so much, Dino, for sponsoring this episode. Dean's company is called Top Flight Executive, a premier chauffeur and transportation company for VIPs all over the world. Now, I've been very fortunate to be collected in these vehicles from time to time as a treat from my good friend Dean. And Dean's offering a 10% discount for any of our podcast listeners. So contact Dean to receive 10% off your first ever journey on one of his luxurious vehicles. Dino, love you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you very much. To contact Dean to receive your 10% wonderful loyal offer, it's www.topflightexecutive.co.uk. And the second sponsor for this episode, again, a friend of mine, a very good friend. And you're probably wondering why it's good friends sponsoring, because when you do something like this, you have to have great people supporting you and encouraging. I'm very fortunate to have that. So this one is Scott Bland from the organization United Safety Solutions. United Safety are a distinguished leader in the UK, providing specialist training in the private education sector and in the construction world too. And thank you so much to Scott and United Safety Solutions for also sponsoring this episode. And once again, on your first purchase with Scott at United Safety Solutions Limited, you will receive a 10% opportunity of discount by quoting this very podcast episode. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, everybody, for supporting me. To contact for your special opportunity, it's unitedsafetysolutions.co.uk. You think back when we had this conversation last time was in May this year, 2024. And I remember you left the conversation and you think of how much has happened from then to now. So I wanted to get you back on while it's all fresh in your mind and the energy is still there, because it's October the 12th. You just fought for the world title against Trout, Austin Trout. What a fight that was. I just love to hear about that journey from when you left here in May. I remember you calling me a month or so later. I can't remember the exact date. I just got off the train station, off the train at Retford train station. You rang me and saying, just been announced this big fight's coming up. Now, I can't remember if that was for potentially in New Mexico or it was this one. So go back to when you got the call for this fight and then talk me through that kind of process from then to now.
Yeah, so it was August the 10th is when he said, I've got your fight. Here's your lottery ticket. This is what the promoter said. Here's your lottery ticket. We've got your world title against Austin Trout, 10th of August in New Mexico. And it was 6 weeks before that. That's when he rang me. And obviously, it was a short notice, 6-week fight at camp. I had no way been ready, but I accepted it. And I said, yeah, I'll fight. I was really ill at the time. And then, luckily, the fight didn't pull through. Austin, I think he wanted more money or something, and the contract didn't get signed. So they cancelled the show and pushed the fight back to October the 12th in Marbella. And for me, that was perfect. It was more local, and it gave me more time to get my health right. And I just felt like it was meant to be. And yeah, it was meant to be.
So when you got that call then, and they said 6 weeks to fight, did you accept it, even though you knew you weren't ready? Did you accept it because it was a lottery ticket and you thought, I've got to just take this chance?
Yeah, 100%. So I sat down with my manager, my wife, and everyone. We discussed it, and everyone was like, "You're crazy. Why are you accepting that?" And me and my manager kind of discussed, look, if we accept the fight, get it announced, we'll get it out there so people know I'm in line next for the world title fight. And, I said, worst case, if I got ill, I'll have to just pull. But for me, I'd just end up fighting. But yeah, luckily it didn't happen in August, and we had a good 10-week solid camp for it. And yeah, before that, I was really bad in like May, started off again. So yeah, just with the colitis coming back, the bowel disease, yeah, we got really bad in hospital. Obviously, I got admitted into Nottingham Hospital, and they was doing a camera test just to see what was happening.
Was this in May?
Yeah, and I was losing a lot of blood coming out of the rectum and stuff like that. And as I got admitted, I ended up picking up neurovirus in there. So I was severely sick. Not only I was having a chronic flare up with colitis, I caught this neurovirus and I was 10 times worse. So they couldn't do the camera anymore, and I had to wait another 3 months till I cured this like virus. And then went in 3 months later, got the camera in there, and they made a few mistakes, made a few things worse. A lot of blood come out, and then they went to do a biopsy, and it didn't. It was valid, so I had to wait another month to do it again. So it was a long process trying to get sorted. I ended up getting the camera through NHS, but I was just going private with loads of tests, consultations, and I think with your health, I think the only way is just to invest in your health, is just to pay private. You're not going to get anywhere sometimes with NHS. I mean, NHS is great because it's for free, and they save lives. But if you want to look after your health, I think it's private is just the way forward. It's a lot of money, but it's health's wealth.
So was you managing to train through this as well then, or was you totally not doing anything at all?
Yeah, so in May, when I got admitted, I had norovirus, and 3 months I was battered. I was literally bedbound for quite a bit. I was forcing myself to get up every day. Like, chronic fatigueness, like, is something else. Like, you have fatigue and tired most days when you know, like, your normal, like, routine. But when you've got a flare up and you're having this chronic fatigue, it hits you hard, and you know the difference. It's horrible. But it just comes back to, like, when I had colitis before, I was just pushing through it, and it's all I knew. I just thought, you just push through it and it'll go away. And then it got to the point where I just won't listen to my body again. So I had to go hospital. I had to stop training, but I was still coaching most days, just getting up and coaching because I was bored, and I just found it hard to rest. But I was listening to my body a bit, and I was resting. I had my manager and my nutritionist was paying for loads of private tests, and I've spent tens of £1,000s just on my health, and it's been worth it, getting to where I was before that fight camp. So obviously, when that fight didn't happen in August, they said they're going to push it back. So I was thinking maybe September, hopefully October. And then when they told me October, I think it was 14 weeks out, and I was like, this is amazing, perfect. And I had a bit of plan. I got my manager. We got a bit of a plan. I said, look, I'm going to do 4 weeks building my health right, because I was still really bad at this point when I accepted it.
Right.
I want training. So I didn't train for like, I'd say 2-3 months, maybe like briefly once every so often, and then I'd fall ill. But then I had 4 weeks to get my health right. So I paid a lot of money on tests and stuff, and then I thought, I'll give myself 10 weeks solid camp. That's all I need, and I'll be fine. And that's what we did, and we managed to get 10 solid weeks not being ill, and it was crazy health turnaround. I don't know how I managed to do it, but with some good people around me, positive mindset, good energy, we managed to do it, and we got there.
So when you last came to have this conversation with me, you'd just come out of hospital in that May time, and you was working really hard to get your health back on track. So even though you didn't feel great, you still said yes to the fight when the call came, because the opportunity is so big. And I think you said yes, but then thankfully it got pushed out, which has given you time to get your health right. So that 4 weeks there that you said, 4 weeks to get my health right. What was you doing in that 4 weeks?
So in that 4 weeks, it was mainly nutrition. Everything was nutrition, and I was doing a lot of research and studying on my own, going private as well, consultations, which fast-tracked everything. Obviously, I was paying for like private consultations, and I was trying to get a few tests through NHS as well, because it was costing tens of thousands. It cost me a fortune, but my wife was behind me every step. It was like, look, we'll go in debt just to get my health right, because if you haven't got health, you don't get anything. So we did everything we could in them 4 weeks, and my diet was very strict. I'll be honest, I was on weight before I even started camp. So because I was really ill, I wasn't eating. So I was already on fight weight, pretty much 74 kilo. So I had to like kind of build my stomach back up in them 4 weeks. And then by, I think 8 weeks out, my weight was back to normal, and it kind of just took a massive turn. But I was doing everything like just recovery ice baths. We've got vitamin drips, everything you could think of nutrition-wise, spending a lot of money on good nutrition. And it paid off.
And working at the same time was you as well?
Yeah.
In the gym?
Yeah, I was working. I was doing coaching every day. And when it got to 10 weeks out, I was on to sponsors and stuff. And luckily, I come on to some good sponsors. After being on here, we got a good sponsor. So I had some good people help me out. They was asking, what I want and stuff. And I said, I need help funding just for these 10 weeks so I can just focus on the fight, training camp, and not worry about, paying bills, doing PTs. So luckily I had good sponsors to help me out through that for 10 weeks. So my whole focus was just on fight camp, getting my health right, recovering, everything I need to be done, and there was no stress. So everything just went into place.
Is that the first time in your career that you've been able to do that, solely focused like a professional athlete on a big event?
Yeah, that was the longest time, 10 weeks. That was amazing. On the last fight before that, over a year ago, I probably did 4 weeks where it was just full on focus. But when the fights are getting bigger, you need more time. So
yeah,
definitely that'll be the go ahead all the time now.
So before, everybody listening will be interested and excited about the actual fight, the fight night, the build up, the press conferences that I was watching at home. So exciting. And obviously the man Conor McGregor's in the mix, and the hype, the entertainment, it was just so good. But before we get to that, I'd just like you to talk about, you get through that first 4 weeks of health, you're feeling good, and then you've got your next kind of zone into your training. What did a typical day look like for you when you was like just relentlessly focused on your training camp?
Yeah, every day I was waking up in that fight camp like fatigued and tired, and your it feels like you've been in a car crash every day. But I used to wake up just hungry, ready to go again. Like I was just obsessed. And because it was such a big fight, it's like I've been working for this opportunity for 16 plus years. All my whole career I've been working for an opportunity like this to perform on a big stage in front of millions of people, in front of Conor McGregor, and to fight Austin Trout as well. Like, he's a massive, legit world champion, 200 amateur fights, 50 pro fights, and this was a massive opportunity for me. So the focus and the motivation and hunger every day I was waking up was insane. I've never felt anything like it, and I feel like every camp's just getting stronger. I'm learning from every fight camp, learning from every fight, and I feel like everything just fell into place in this camp. And yeah, the hunger was there, like the work rate, everything was just insane.
What time was you getting up there? And what would a day look like? Was you training twice, three, once? How was it go? What was it?
2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
But obviously, mainly two a day. I'd get up every morning. I'd be in the same routine. I got a little bit of medication for my stomach. So what I did, I went to the gastrologist was talking about surgery. And I said, look, if you just give me medication to last me 10 weeks up until this fight camp, then I'll talk about surgery or whatever. So they gave me a few bits of medication just to, every time I waked up, it was like half an hour before food. And then I was having my probiotics, prebiotics. I was having some really strict stuff. And I was boxing every single morning with Coach Deck or Danny Mitchell, mainly Deck in Scunthorpe. So I was boxing every morning.
Sparring?
Mainly pad work.
Yeah.
But then sparring would be once a week heavy, and then once a week just touch sparring with small MMA gloves. But we'd kind of work around everything for sparring. Sparring's a key session, so we'd kind of just prepare the body. If I was sparring on a Friday, I'd recover on a Thursday, 2 light sessions, and then go hard Friday, and then recover again, 2 steady ones. But it would be box in the morning, recover, get some food, nutrition, and then it would be fitness or strength in the afternoon, and then sometimes have a little stretch or sauna, a bit of recovery after that. So yeah, good solid 2 sessions a day.
And how was your colitis holding up, and how was your body through that period?
Yeah, it was off and on. Like, some days I'd wake up, my stomach would be absolutely bloated. The main thing was my stomach. It was trying to force food down me because my appetite wasn't there, and my stomach was horrendously bloated every day. So it was trying to control that, and I was kind of trialing my diet as I was dieting, and like I was taking things out. I was gluten free, dairy free for the whole 2 months, 3 months in fact, and then just kind of super strict with the diet. But yeah, everything went smooth, to be fair.
Is all your sparring then with gloves, with boxing gloves? Do you do any sparring without? Someone asked me a question the other day. I can't remember who it was. It might have been my son or someone said, how do they spar and prepare for getting hit with bare knuckle? And I'm like, it's a great question.
I know, yeah. I've had a lot of questions as well, but you've got to spar with gloves on. Obviously, you can't spar with no gloves. You just end up getting cut straight open. So I spar once a week with big gloves on, boxing, pro boxers, and that'll just it'll get the heart rate going. It'll just get them hard conditioning rounds out, where once a week I'll get the small MMA gloves on, 4 ounce, and we'll do touch sparring, because again, you can't really go full on with MMA gloves because you'll just get cut up again and you'll get, a lot of bruising and stuff. So you've got to be clever and smart out of the train. Yeah, and obviously you can't go too many heavy spars because your brain's not going to be working. So, yeah, you got to be smart with it.
And how did you feel through the sparring? Was you starting to feel sharp? Did everything go how you wanted it to, or there was the moments through the camp that you just had these blips, whether it was with your health or you're just not feeling good or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, it was ups and downs in camp. You can never perform 100% every time, and that's what you've got to adapt to. Like, if you have an awful sparring session, you can't sit and dwell on it. You've just got to crack on and say, that was crap, let's go again next week. Where sometimes people just sit and be negative about that spar. You can't. You've just got to. It's just how it works. It's just the game. But sparring started off steady because I didn't spar in a long time, and then we started sparring, got into the groove. A couple of spars in, I started performing really well, sparring some very high level pro boxers, and I was boxing really good with them. And then I actually sparred my last two spars of the fight camp. Last one was in England, and the last one in England 2 weeks out, and then the last week was in Spain. I sparred terrible for the last 2 spars. My jaw was half snapped off. It was in agony. And on the last spar, I actually sparred in Spain, and it got to the 4th round. Normally do 5 or 6 rounds. It got to the 4th round, and my jaw was that bad. We had to stop just to get through this fight rest of the week. So a week before the fight, my jaw were hanging off. Killing.
Really?
Yeah.
And do you know what had happened to it then?
Sometimes you get caught with your mouth open. Sometimes, and I've had a few problems with it before. You take a shot with your mouth open, it just kind of locks out and it just clicks. It takes a bit of while, and you just got to keep massaging the jaw a bit. Yeah, it's painful. And you just got to. But things like that, I just back of my mind, I was just tunnel visioned on Austin Trout. I didn't care about my jaw. I was just like, it's happened now. The last 2 spars, I was a bit annoyed straight away, but then a bit of time just adjusting. You've just got to switch the brain again.
Do you think that's also the apprehension and all the adrenaline of the fight building, that you're wanting everything to go exact, and something doesn't, it's exaggerated? Where if that had happened in the first few weeks, you'd probably think that's fine. But yeah. I guess it's that tension building, isn't it? The intensity's building. How does it feel when you're getting closer and closer to fight night? Is all you're thinking about is the fight, or do you manage to switch off and relax?
Never switch off.
No.
The worst times at night. I'm a bad sleeper anyway, but at night it was more excited nerves. It was I wasn't nervous in the whole thing. Even in the back warming up, I said to my coach, I need to get some nerves here. I'm buzzing, but I need to get some nerves. And then when I started walking out, that's when it started coming. But it was crazy. Them nerves, you need them, but yeah, I didn't really get much nerves, to be fair. It was good.
Was you sparring with southpaws then? Because I know Trout's a southpaw, or did you just spar with different types of boxers?
Yeah, it was my coach Deck. He knows a lot of boxers, so he sorted out all the southpaw sparring for me. So we had to travel to a lot of different gyms, a lot of travelling, like Manchester, Sheffield. And we got some high-level southpaw sparring in. They're very tricky southpaws, and a lot of people hate sparring and fighting them, but you just got to adapt.
Have you fought a southpaw before?
I've only fought one in BKB. It was my second bare knuckle fight. I want boxing like I was now, just scrapping, and I just stuck it on the guy and finished him. But obviously at this level, you gotta be cautious. It was a boxing match.
Because didn't Trout go the full distance with Canelo?
He did, yeah. He beat Miguel Cotto for the world title,
Yeah.
and then he went 12 rounds
He
with
beat
Canelo.
Cotto, did he?
Yeah, he beat Cotto.
Wow.
I think he ended up clashing heads with Cotto at one point, and he got a big cut. And I opened that back up in the fight. And then he went 12 rounds with Canelo, which is crazy. And that was a very close fight as well. And he's fought Charlo brothers. They're like massive names.
Yeah.
He's fought some big guys. Yeah, very massive stages.
What made him go to bare knuckle then, do you think?
I'm not sure. I think, well, I was talking to his brothers. They were really nice guys after, and they said, you know, Trout's, he's a bad man. He's been on the streets fighting all his life, and he's just been, you know, he's just a dog. He just loves a scrap. There's not many boxers that transfer over. So fair play to him. He's definitely got something about him, because, like I say, I spar with a lot of pro boxers that they think they're not a chance I'd take the gloves off.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So as you're building up to the fight, then the hype's picking up. You know, your followers, you're getting sponsorships. You like mentioned Ant Middleton and people like that are sponsoring you. Our friend Chris Sly, big shout out to the Retford FC.
Yes. Team Retford.
Team Retford supporting you, and you could feel the hype because I'm from the same community area, and everywhere you went, people's talking about. I mean, I bumped into you in Marks and Spencer's the day before. You was flying out, and I mean, you were mega relaxed, and as you would be, just doing a bit of shopping, but everybody was talking about it. It was so good for the area, but not just the local areas now. People are talking about you worldwide because you're going to one of the biggest events, well, the biggest event I think that's ever been for bare knuckle, especially with Conor McGregor, because he is Mr. Entertainment, isn't he, and a showman. So as you're getting closer and you're feeling good, you get on the plane, you go to Marbella. Just pick up from there. When you first land, what was your life like? How long did you go? Was it a week or two before?
Yeah, we was there for 16 days, but 2 weeks before the fight, just to climatise and just, I mean, when you go on holiday, you don't really need to climatise because you're there for an holiday, but when you're training, you need to climatise, get used to the weather, just get into a good routine. So it took me a good week to get into a routine. Get all my bits from that. We had an apartment, so I was cooking food and just get into a good little routine in there. And yeah, to be fair, the heat, I'm glad I was out there a good week, 2 weeks before.
Yeah. What was the press conferences? How many of them did you have on build up?
Yeah, so on the Thursday it was the press conference, Friday weigh-ins, and then Saturday fight. So it was like a 3 day, big 3 days event, and it was just unbelievable. It was like, it was unbelievable. I've never been on such a big event.
Yeah.
Been on some big shows, but the event was just insane.
So when was the first time you met Conor McGregor then, when you got to Marbella?
I think he was meant to come to the press conference, but he ended up getting stuck in Florida or somewhere. So obviously he got a plane back. Then he pulled up on his yacht on Friday. And then he was there for the weigh-in. We weighed in the morning, the official weigh-ins, and then they have a ceremony weigh-ins later on at night. And 7 o'clock it was, and we turned up to this big place and was all waiting to go on stage, go and weigh in, and then next minute there's like a big herd of people just pushing everyone out of the way. And I thought there was a riot in here, but it wasn't. It was Conor McGregor walking in with all his security, just shoving everyone out of the way, and like the main man just entered the building. It was, and everyone was just going wild. So he's just a mad showman. So when he got up on the stage, obviously, it was just real, you know, I was just trying to soak everything up. I was there, you know, I was in the moment, but I was just trying to like make memories and just visualize it all. And it was crazy.
Is that when you had the face off then?
Yeah. So me and Trout, you know, was getting on stage doing the proper way, and just, you know, I said, I was sound with Trout all along. We have a bit of banter, and I said, I give him a little shove it way and said, look, let's give the crowd something to look for, you know, like let's spice it up a bit. And he was sounding like, it's all business, baby, let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got in each other's face, we give each other a shove. McGregor loved every second of it because, you know, everyone's really intense. And one thing I wanted to do was trying to enjoy this whole process and enjoy the whole weekend, and that's what I got out of it. And instead of being so serious, I mean, I was serious, but I enjoyed every second of it, like, you know, getting each other's face, just enjoying the whole thing. McGregor loved it. It's crazy.
So as you go face to face then, you'd obviously said, well, let's give the fans something to enjoy here. However, when you're watching that back home as a spectator, you know, And me knowing you more personally, I've never seen you in the ring. I've never watched you fighting. I've only known you from this conversation and, you know, becoming friends afterwards. You're such a kind of relaxed, calm.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was my son again was asking about you, and I was saying, honestly, it's just so chilled, relaxed. But then when I've watched you in the face off and then you're squaring up, you can see in your eyes it changes and you're in that competitor mode, aren't you?
Yeah.
So when you're stood opposite him then, what's going through your mind there? Because Conor McGregor stood right next to you in his nice suit, he's hyping it up, you're there, your opponent's there, your fans are there. Can you remember what was going through your mind, or was it really just for show?
Yeah, no, it wasn't for show. I kind of locked in. Like, it's weird, I can just kind of switch my brain into fight mode straight away. And obviously when we got on stage, I was kind of visioning what I was going to do on there. I had a vision of just I wanted to get this little posture, what McGregor used to do a bit of it, his stance. And I thought, right, I'm going to do that, and then I'm just going to get in his face and just spice things up, give each other a little shove in. But in the moment, I was like feeling it. I was ready to fight there and then. I kind of got me set into a zone. I was ready to go. And it was just that tunnel vision switch. I can just switch it and like kind of get all the distractions out of the way. Obviously, McGregor was on stage, but I kind of shook his hand. I wasn't interested. I was just staring him out and I was just locked in. And that's a big difference, I think, yeah.
Because you put your head into him, didn't you? And then he moved around you.
Yeah.
and then
I mean that was as much as it was going to get. Like we're just going to shove each other, but yeah,
you can't risk the fight not happening.
No, exactly. We're fighting the next day, so there's no point in. I don't know why people hit each other on stage.
Yeah,
it's pointless. But you've got to spice things up for the fans, and that's what we did. So yeah, everyone loved it.
So when you walk away from that face to face, does it take time to come down again from that, or is that constantly rolling through your mind of what you've just done? Is the adrenaline because adrenaline can tire you out, can't it? And I think you've seen that with some world-class fighters before. They get so pumped the day of or the night before weigh-ins, and then they're a bit flat because it's difficult. Like you said to me when you entered the building today, that sometimes when you've had the big fights, you have a big come down. And I think sometimes you see it with people who get too hyped too soon and their energies evaporated before they really need it to shine. So how did you feel when you walked off from the press conference? What was your kind of, in your face, what was your thinking? What did you go away? I know you're a big fan of manifesting and visualization. So just talk me through. You leave the stage, everybody's screaming, shouting you. What an audience you had.
Oh, it was mental.
What happens next for you? Talk me through that.
Obviously, we both walked off the stage. Was trying to figure out where to go, and then went to walk through the crowd, and obviously I had a lot of people there, which was good. I walked past Trout again, I shook his hand, and I was like, let's go tomorrow. It was sound, and I was kind of just thinking, like, the adrenaline that was pumping through was insane, and that just being there in the moment. I mean, it was good on camera, but when you was there, it was just the adrenaline, being on stage in front of all them people. There's a lot of eyes there, a lot of famous people, and just the rush and the adrenaline, that's the addiction there. And it's, obviously when it was coming down, it come down. I wasn't exhausted from it. I had adrenaline for about half an hour, just pumping, and then went and seen a few fans, and like everyone in there was just chanting my name, and it was crazy. It was amazing. All the Retford lot, they were all chanting. And then obviously I went back up to the stage. McGregor was there, and he come down, shook my hand again, and it was just, I just didn't want that moment to end. It was a rush. It was an exciting time.
Did you head back to the apartment straight after that then and just rest?
Yeah, so for about half an hour, because there was a bit of an after thing in there. Everyone was just talking. I seen a few of my fans, half an hour. They all stayed out because it was a free bar. So half an hour later, I got my coach deck took me back, and I had to sit. I chilled out in the hotel and just watched one of my pals was fighting. Craig Derbyshire was fighting pro boxing the night before, so I sat and watched that. Trying to stay up a little bit just to acclimatise to the time, because I'll be fighting that time tomorrow, the next night. So I watched the boxing, and then I had a good sleep. Went to bed, and that was it.
And so you wake up in the morning, the day of the fight. As soon as you woke up, was your mind on it? How was you?
Yeah, this is one thing. Yeah, so when you wake up on fight day, a lot of people get on it straight away, and they burn a lot. You burn a lot of energy with adrenaline and nerves. So the best thing is just to control it. So I've been there so many times now. I get up in the morning. I'm in a good routine. I try and lay in as much as I can. And then I get up, I'll have a bit of food, just get loads of water, hydration in, and I'll just chill. I just chill, relax, try not to do bare minimum, to be fair. And then we kind of went out and got some food and just chilled, bonged out all day, chilled in the hotel, and then just getting everything ready and prepared, and just visualizing it, going over it, but trying to stay as calm as you can. Sometimes do a bit of meditation, a lot of breathing work. Sometimes you can feel that heart rate going up. I kind of just sit and just take a few deep breaths for a couple of minutes, and it's gone.
Yeah.
It's just controlling them emotions in that time, because you start burning all that energy. Adrenaline, you're going to burn a lot of calories and nerves, so you just got to control it. And when it comes to the time, that's when you can start bringing it in again.
So when you wake up and the fight's obviously at the forefront of your mind, and you've got to control your energy and emotion. When you start to visualize, what are you thinking about? Is it the ring walk? Is it while you're in the ring? Can you remember what you're thinking about on the day of? Because I'm always interested of, the role play that you're doing in your mind, and does it come? I know obviously you're thinking of winning the fight, and unfortunately you didn't win the fight, but going into the fight, it felt like you'd already been in there because you'd thought about it that much.
Yeah, 100%. So the vision, like leading up the whole fight, as soon as it got announced, I was visualizing being in the ring with Austin Trout, picturing him in front of me and going over like what I'm going to be doing. And like obviously when the time come, every day was different, so I'd start visualizing that all the time, the fight, and then I'd visualize warming up in the back, getting my hands wrapped. I'd visualize what the walkout as well. One thing I wanted to do on the walkout was enjoy it, take my time, not be so serious, run into the ring.
Yeah.
I wanted to just let the music play and just soak it up, and that's one thing I did, and I was buzzing. I did it, and I enjoyed every second of it. That walkout was unbelievable. Now, I actually first time started smiling. I was smiling on the walkout, and that's not many times I do that. So,
I remember you told me last time that on the walkout you played your mum's favourite song, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
on previous fight,
them,
and it didn't work for you, did it? It had an adverse effect that affected your emotion. Did you contemplate doing that again, the same song, or
no? No. That was about 5 years ago. In the James Kennelly final fight it was, but I've never done it since. Just trying
too
to stay,
emotional.
Just try to stay away from it. Just good energy. Just try not to get any bad emotions coming in. But it's the best I've ever felt for a fight, to be honest. Yeah.
And as you was walking towards the ring, obviously you could hear Rico being chanted everywhere. You're walking towards the ring. It's interesting to me how you stay present and enjoy that when you know you're going to go toe to toe with a guy that basically wants to knock your head off, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And you're smiling walking in. Can you remember what was going through your mind as you approached the ring?
I was kind of just going over like, I wanted to do this, and I was just ticking all the boxes. It's taking me time. Like I say, I visioned it, and it's like I've already been here. I've already walked down here. We're getting to the ring. I do a little prayer to my mum. I do that every time. I get in the ring and I visualise David Feldman was there, shook his hand, and then I just get locked in and I'm just waiting for him to come out. All that's going through my head is just what I'm going to be doing to him.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Had you watched lots of videos of him then?
Yeah, I didn't watch too many, but I was watching. When I first got announced, I watched him versus Canelo. 12-rounder. Obviously, that was in his prime and peak. He's only had 2 bare knuckle fights, and I was watching them 2 over and over. And he beat the best in the game, Palomino, and that was his last one. So I was just watching that all the time, just going over, bits and bobs, finding little things. And obviously, my coach, he's the one who does that. So my coaches do that. But yeah, I didn't really look into too much. I didn't look what he was doing, what training. I didn't know what he was doing, to be honest. All I was focusing on himself.
And what was your strategy then entering the ring? Was there a game plan from start, or is it literally each round it gets adapted depending how the fight's going?
Yeah, so he was expecting me to steam in 100 miles an hour. I thought, no. The plan was to try and box him, to box the boxer. I mean, he said I wouldn't stand toe-to-toe and have a boxing fight with him, and I did. I showed the dominance with the stance. I was a little bit bigger, a little bit taller, but he had a good reach on him. But he was so slick, and he adapted really quick. He was very clever, and he was very hard to get close to. A very good foot position, so he made it hard for me to engage. I was hesitant. I was doing a lot of feints. To be fair, the game plan went perfect. First round, it was very close. I To be fair, I was nearly edging the first round until I engaged. I rushed in and he dropped me, and I got straight back up. The punches didn't really hurt, to be fair. It was just flash. It was like flashing fast. It was that elite boxer. He was so slick and clever. He was making it. It was just doing little things. It was very hard to engage with him. So we boxed him for 3 rounds. We did well. I didn't feel like I was getting outboxed horrendously. It was just minor little things. It was just getting the edge on just little details, and that's just crazy levels from boxing.
Yeah.
With all the experience he's had, I'm not even a boxer. I've just come from an MMA background.
Yeah.
So we went to plan, boxed him for 3 rounds, and we realised after the third, I was listening to instructions like perfectly, and was like, right, look, we're losing this fight. Let's just stick it on him a little bit more now. The plan B was just turn it into a dog fight. So again, I didn't want to rush too much in. So when we got in, I tried to clinch him, and was getting the better in the clinch in the last couple of rounds. In the last round, I just thought, I'm just going to walk forward, hands down, just swinging. And yeah, it worked well, to be fair. Yeah. I could feel him tiring out a little bit, to be fair. And I just wish there was maybe one more round, or I started a little bit early. But I always criticise myself after a fight because I'm like, I should have done this, but it goes that quick in a fight. It's easier said than done. It's just when you're in that moment, it's hard. When you're against someone that level, it's insane. But I'm happy with the performance. It went 5 rounds of Austin Trout. Just a young lad from Gaines with a shitbag on his stomach. Not bad. Mate, not even a boxer.
And that last round, I mean, I don't think there's anything more you could have thrown in there, could you?
No.
You were going in swinging, arms down, swinging, and as a fan of yours watching it, you're just hoping that you don't get caught in them moments, because someone as skillful as that, when you're as tired and you're throwing, I mean, you're right, he was tired too, but you was just going at him, weren't you?
I thought to myself, I don't want to, it's on a big stage and I just want to leave everything in there. And I left everything in there. I can remember just laying down after the fight. I couldn't move for about an hour or 45 minutes. I just laid there, just like, head was throbbing.
Was it?
Bit of concussion, just because I left everything in there. I just made sure there was nothing left in the tank, and that's what I did. And I couldn't have done anything else. The better man just won on the day, and he clearly won. It was a close fight, but he definitely won. Just to do 5 rounds of Trout was unreal.
What happens after the fight, and once you've kind of been able to move again, what was the rest of the night?
I offered him out in the car park. No, I'm gonna
old school style.
No, just laid down for 45 minutes.
Was your family there with you then, or was you on your own still?
Yeah, so obviously went into the back. I got stitches in the eye. I had an old cut that opened up. Got some stitches in, went down, chilled out. I laid down for about 40 minutes. I struggled to move, and then we're just getting all our belongings, and we had loads of crates of Forge Irish Stout in the back. So we necked a few of them. And then I end up going to see all the family and friends that have come to support. My nan come, she's 83. She's never been to watch a fight before. And she come to Marbella for a world title fight, living the dream.
I saw her stood next to Conor McGregor, giving Conor McGregor a kiss, weren't she? Brilliant.
Yeah, that was a birthday present.
How was your nan watching it then? Was she all right? Is that the first ever fight she's seen you?
Yeah, she's never watched me fight before.
How did you manage to get her there then?
She come to my wedding last year, but she hasn't really been abroad in a long time. Like, she just, obviously, she struggles getting about too much, but she's all right, just plodding along. My wife, she got her a wheelchair. We got her there, and luckily, all my friends, well, there was only like a big villa, so we all just helped her out, and everyone was just super friendly, and she had the best time ever. It was amazing, So she'll live in the dream.
So after the fight, then that night, did you go out that night with your fans and that, or did you just chill and go to sleep?
Yeah, so the time we got out, we were like midnight, I'd say, and we had a couple of hours because a lot of people were going back that night. A lot of them were staying, so I thought, right, we just had a mad event. Everyone's come to see me, so I'll go out and see a few. And we had a couple of drinks, and then I went back. Didn't really have a crazy night, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, just sometimes after a fight, I can't even bother to drink. I'm just exhausted.
Yeah.
You're just overwhelmed from the whole experience. It was a crazy event. I mean, when I first got there, I watched the first 3 fights, and I was just watching it. I was just a massive fan, just watching it. I was like, this is crazy. And then I realised, I'm fighting on here soon. Let's go. And you just have to switch it.
Yeah. So from like that kid that's got that dream to
Yeah.
actually I'm the kid now in the ring that's living the dream.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
And it's mad that you like you know when you really think about it from Gainesville where you're from to then you're in Marbella and you're having a meal and you've got Conor McGregor coming over to see you. I mean, it's like and Ant Middleton, all these people, it's phenomenal, really, isn't it? It brings a lot of inspiration to people, I think. Well, I know from your community, your area, that seeing you doing that, a great guy that's gone on to do so much, I think it brings hope to a lot of people. And so after the fight then that day, was that the night that you was having a meal and you said you saw Conor McGregor on the yacht on his bike?
Yeah, so it was the Monday night, I think it was the last night, and then we went back Tuesday. So we all went out for a meal because a lot of them was all going back on the same day on Tuesday evening. And yeah, we all met up at this Indian restaurant, went for some food, right in the marina, and all the yachts were there. And we just realised McGregor's yacht was literally outside the restaurant. And someone was like, oh, he's up there, look. And he come out on top deck. He was on his push bike, just like he does. Obviously, what a cracking guy. But anyway, I thought, right, I'm going to zoom in on a video. I zoomed in on him biking. And I sent him a message and I sent him it. And I didn't think out of it. And then half an hour later, we're just getting the bill. And next minute, McGregor's coming off his yacht. And I stood up and I looked. And he come into the Indian. And I was walking out just to see. And he come in and was like, Rico, my man, what a fight. And all that. I was like, is this happening? This is crazy. He's come off his yacht to come see me.
Yeah.
And he come in. He was talking about the fight, bigging the fight up, saying, you just boxed 5 rounds against best boxer in BKFC. He loved the performance. He said he loved the whole weekend. He loved everything about it, and he was just bigging it up. And it was nice to hear from someone like him, taking his time to come and say that.
Mm.
And it was one of his best fights of the night. He said that the co-main event was the best 2 fights. And then next minute, he goes and pays for all our food, and it was crazy, yeah. He just went around, everyone got pictures, took his time. I thought he was just going to be in and out, but he spent a bit of time talking, and generally proper sound guy.
I bet your mates was loving that, weren't they? All there getting photographs with him.
Even my nan got a picture. My wife and her sister, everyone was just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But I kind of like visioned it before, and it was like, I'm going to meet McGregor, and it was like, it was just like a normal day. It was crazy. And now you look back, I'm like, yeah, that did happen actually. But it was just, I already knew it was going to come in. I always knew it was going to happen.
Have you spoke to him since? Have you heard from him since the fight?
Yeah, but I messaged him a few times on Instagram and stuff, and he's replied. He likes all my stuff on my stories and that all the time. He's keeping an eye out. I'm trying to get this Palomino fight next, and he's going to try and push for it, hopefully, because that's the next fight that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he takes his time to... message back and stuff like that. So what a guy.
It's wonderful. Like, what's it like when you see people like, I love sport, and I probably love the sports people more than the sport that they're in. I'm fascinated by the person behind the sports person, and I used to love watching McGregor's press conferences and the way he used to walk out to the ring, just that aura, pretty much like when even younger watching someone like Mike Tyson walking out to the ring. You just get obsessed. You get fascinated by their life and their story and what makes them such formidable people and so successful, because they're often successful across multiple platforms, aren't they? Not just sport, but business too. Like Floyd Mayweather goes into the business world and they kind of explode in all different avenues. So when you meet McGregor, what would you say that took him to such superstardom, other than him being an incredible athlete and performing when it mattered? But he's a lot of great athletes, isn't it, that don't explode it like he has. What would you say it is?
I'd say he talks a talk and he walks a walk. He's just got the full package. He's a showman. He's a movie star, and he don't need to act. He's just being himself, and that is just how he is. And people try and force it too much, and you can't. You've just got to be yourself, and that is who Conor McGregor is. I've read John Kavanagh's book, his coach, and even in his book when he first started his gym, he was just wild. He was wild like that. He's always been the same. So, yeah, fair play to him. What a guy. I mean, love him or hate him, what he's done for the combat sport is insane. Two-weight world champion in UFC. Then he crosses over to boxing, fights the best boxer in the world. Mayweather and goes 10 rounds with him in his own sport. And now he's moved over to Bare Knuckle FC. He's the face of Bare Knuckle FC now. And yeah, what he's doing for Bare Knuckle FC is insane.
What is he looking to do with it? What is his role with it then?
It's just taking it to the next level. I mean, you know, he's bought into it, and he's just the face of it, and he's got all these contacts bringing him in, and he's just taking it to the next level now, all across Europe. I think his team's working all across Europe, getting into all different countries. I'll tell you what, I'd love to see him fight Bare Knuckle. I think his
Do you
style,
think he will?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think if he fights Bare Knuckle FC, I think it's going to be bigger than UFC one day. I believe it's just you can't take your eyes off it when you're watching Bare Knuckle, and it's just so interesting. I think McGregor's style for Bare Knuckle is perfect. I think he would beat Mayweather in a rematch in Bare Knuckle. I'm telling you.
Do you think that? I don't think Floyd would ever do that.
No,
do you?
He wouldn't.
No,
100% McGregor would wipe up a lot of people.
Yeah,
it's just his style, and obviously MMA gloves. It's just his style's amazing.
Because he talks a lot about that manifestation, doesn't he? That visualization, everything is achieved is thought about first. And a lot of successful people in all different arenas talk about that, don't they? You've got to picture it first, and then you start to move towards it. And you know, that's really interesting, exciting, that no matter where you are, having that ability to think about something greater than what you've got now allows you to progress towards the things that you really want. And I think when you get success from it like you've got, you do more of it, don't you?
Yeah, you're just hungry to go again.
So what are you thinking about now? What's going through your mind? Are you having a total just relax, or are you already starting to think what's next for you?
Yeah, as soon as the fight was over, I was thinking what's next.
Was you?
Yeah, I'm ready to go again. I've had a few weeks just, eating what I want, just enjoying a bit of time off, relaxing, recovering. And now I'm back in the gym. I'm still busy. I'm focused on the next fight. I've told them all, look, just give me the call and I'm ready to go. But there's no rush. I mean, we're looking at early next year in a big fight. After that performance, they want to see me back in another big fight, and I'll not stop working until I get that belt again. So I will keep going until I get the belt. I've had 12 bare knuckle fights, and I really want to get to that 20 mark one day. But yeah, that would be a mad goal. I want to be known as a bit of a legend in the game. I know a lot of people say I am now, but 12 fights is a lot. But I want to go down in history in the bare knuckle game, definitely.
What kind of arenas and countries are they looking at for your up and coming opportunities?
So they've just started in Spain. Obviously, that was the first show in Spain. They're looking at doing loads of shows in Spain and about doing a big tournament. They're going to go Real Madrid Stadium end of next year. That's been announced. They're going in Italy at the Colosseum, hopefully like April time, and they're looking at trying to get me on there. So there's a lot of options in Europe now, and it's better for me in Europe, better for my fans, better for me. I mean, that's where it's at, but
yeah,
it's just I'm not too fussed. I've done America once, but don't get me wrong, I'd definitely go out there, but I'd rather fight in Europe. It's just easier for me.
So you just keeping yourself fit now, ticking over, and the call might come, or what's the plan for you now? Are you back doing your PT, working in your gym?
Yeah, so I'm back coaching, full swing. My gym's busy, very busy. I've got people fighting most weekends, keeping them active. I mean, after that event, a lot of the gym lot come to watch me fight in person, so it's kind of inspired and motivated them. It's given that extra little push. But yeah, we're back in the gym doing PTs, coaching, back to the hustle, still training. But yeah, just ticking over now, ready. I'm not going full on because, you're going to burn out. So we're just getting that base in again. I've got John Bottom giving me a plan, getting me fit. So it's just my lifestyle in the gym. Even when I'm doing PTs, I'm sparring with them and training with them. Constantly doing something ready to go. Well,
I remember on the last episode when we had the conversation that young lad from Retford, Zach. I remember I told you about he was getting on a train to travel to your gym, and I saw he went to watch you, didn't he, in Marbella?
He did, yeah. He come down.
How inspiring is it for
Amazing.
youngsters?
Yeah, he's only 15, Zach, and I actually got him a fight I think about a month before I went out. So he had his first fight on there. Give him a little focus, and he's ready to go again. But yeah, he come out there and enjoyed it. Yeah, I loved it.
That's what you're leading. You're paving the way, aren't you, for the next generation of fighters too, while you're still doing it.
100%, yeah.
Have you noticed your gym getting busier then from your hype and your success?
Oh, definitely. I tell you what, it's all Retford lads.
Is it?
They all come in the other day, the adults, and it was just literally, I was like, is this a Retford gym now? It was ace.
Yeah.
It's good to see all the young lads from Retford coming in.
Yeah.
More younger guys from Gainsbury even. There's been a couple, to be fair. But yeah, like, it's an intimidating place, but we're getting more youngsters coming in, and that's what it's about. I like training the youngsters because they're hungry, they're motivated, they're full of testosterone, ready to go. So yeah, I enjoy training the juniors and the younger ones coming in.
What's your life been like since then? Has it changed at all? Is it, do you feel like, you're starting to get to the big scene and you're getting more hype, more potential sponsorship opportunities, more invites to do more podcasts, or is it literally you're just on the cusp of breaking through? Because I know, like you said, 16 years you've been waiting for your chance, getting punched in the face for a long time and punching other people too. And me sat watching, it's like you're just breaking through now onto that big stage, and it's time to really capitalize on it. But have you noticed your life starting to change? You must be getting recognized a lot more now.
Yeah, definitely. That was I believe that was a turning point in my career, and I feel like it's just started a new chapter again. It's like I've nearly made kind of what I want, and it's coming up to them big paydays now, which is what we've been working for all my life. It's not even about the paydays. I enjoy fighting and competing, but after all this time, it's you want something about the end of it. And yeah, I feel like this is it's just heading off in the right direction. A few more fights and big cards, like big events where people can recognise me, and definitely the sponsorship. Gym King, MacLife, this has come on, so this is that's a big sponsor. We've got Ant Millerton sponsoring me. And we've got some very good people in Retford. So yeah, it's just bringing it all together, and everyone's the amount of people that watched that fight was crazy. Even people you didn't expect.
Well, people are watching it because of you, aren't they? I wouldn't have been watching it if it weren't for you. You've brought me into it, so I'm supporting you, so I'm now watching it, so I'll now follow the sport. And I think that's what's interesting with you, because you've got such a good way about you. People feel a part of it with you, so even though you're watching, it's like you feel a part of the event because it's you.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's more intense.
It is, and you imagine young Zach going back to school on the Monday. You can imagine what he was talking about, can't you? Like, the trip, the experience, and makes him want to train. It makes him strive for more. So I think what you're doing is more than just for you. It's doing it for everybody else. But I also think you're right. You have earned the right to get the big paydays too, because you've got your own family and that you want to take care of. And every time you're in there, you're basically putting yourself in jeopardy, especially with yourself, with your colitis and all the health things that you've been through. I mean, it is a proper rocky story, isn't it, your life?
It's crazy.
There's got to be a film one day of Rico Franco.
Mate, honestly, yeah, there's been that many setbacks and things trying to stop me. I've had probably 5 people advising me not to fight. And imagine if I listen to these people, I mean, they're only advising, but this is why you can't listen to too many. You can take advice, but you just got to make your own decisions. And I believe I've made the best decision, and it's all about taking them risks. And if not, you'll never know. I'm just so glad I've just never given up. That's one thing I'll never do, is just stop what I'm doing and just chuck it all in.
Yeah.
I'd rather just call it a day, and I'd rather be 6 feet under than just give up like that. It's just pointless.
Yeah.
I'd rather just grinding through and just chasing what I enjoy. I love it.
And people listening to this, Rico, that would like to support you from a sponsorship point of view, how does that work? Do they just contact you? How do they go about doing it?
Yeah, I mean, people just contact me. I've got a manager as well. He deals with a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, mainly me. I can sort stuff out, and every sponsorship's unbelievable. To be fair, every little thing helps in camp. Even like little things you don't realise. There's a lot goes into it, and there's a lot of stress on the body. But yeah, it's massive help, especially trying to run a gym as well, trying to work for a living as well while competing. It's very hard. It's very hard, but I feel like it's slowly getting a bit better now. These bigger shows are coming in.
And let's hope, I mean, that Colosseum, and imagine that, Colosseum and Bernabeu, Real Madrid. I mean,
that'd be crazy.
My son's over in Italy at the moment on a football tour of Milan, and they went to the San Siro to watch AC Milan the other night in the Champions League. And incredible. Imagine fighting in the Bernabeu. But when you've got people like McGregor behind it, they make things happen. They're so good at that, creating the hype.
Yeah.
Look at that Marbella event. Is that the biggest bare knuckle boxing event, bare knuckle fighting event there's ever been in Marbella?
That's what they were saying.
How many was there?
I think 6,000-7,000. I think I'm not 100%, but there has been bigger shows with more fans. I think they did 16,000 in America, but they just said this is like the biggest event.
Yeah.
Like, obviously with McGregor, 3 world title fights
on DAZN as well.
It was on DAZN, which is a massive step up. The first show on DAZN, and obviously it was an open air bullfighting arena, which is pretty historic. Yeah, them bullfights are pretty crazy.
Yeah, I remember seeing McGregor bumping into Usyk, and you could hear him shouting "Marbella, October the 12th."
Yeah,
and Usyk did the takeoff of him, didn't he? Walking behind him. So he's constantly talking. When people talk about it like that, it creates the energy that people want to get more involved, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, I think even Dana White watched it from UFC.
Really?
Yeah, he said he was tuned in. He watched it. There's a lot of eyes on that show, and I just grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Amazing to perform on it as well.
What's a few words that you'd use to just summarize the experience?
So grateful. Grateful, obviously, to be a part of it, and just, my health as well. I always go off everything happens for a reason, and I had 2 world title fights, didn't happen for a reason, and I was sound with it. Obviously, I was really ill at the time, but then this one pulled off on it, and it happened, and I got my health right because it happened for a reason. That's just everyone's journey is different, and I just feel like it's just set out, and you just got to ride it, and you just got to keep working for it. But yeah, it's hard to describe that feeling. It was unbelievable, life changing. It was, yeah.
Do you get any moments of self-doubt?
Sometimes in training you do a little bit. It just gets less and less every time because after going 5 2-minute rounds with Austin Trout, it's going to be hard. I'm not going to really be self-doubting myself anymore like much. You sometimes do. I was a few times leading up to the fight. It does cross your mind, especially if it only crosses my mind if I've had a bad training session. If I spar rubbish, I'll start thinking, if I do that, not gonna, but then it's just like I know I'll be ready on the day. So you do question it now and again, but you just got to keep positive energy, and that's it.
Well, the evidence that you've got gives you the confidence, I guess, that you deserve to be there, and you are there, isn't it? You're not just there to fill the cut. You're there because you've earned it. You literally are right at the top.
100%. After that last one, I feel like I've learned so much.
Yeah.
Just from that fight. I was so aware of what's going on. I was so in control of everything. The best I've ever felt. I just feel like I've learned so much, and I feel like this next one's just going to be even better. Yeah, every fight just seems to be getting better and better, stronger, mentally stronger. Now I'm enjoying it. The biggest event I've ever been on, I just enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So you want more of it?
Yeah, 100%. So, Mr. McGregor, he needs to get me a nice fight.
Well, let's get this message to him and let's see what happens next.
He's going to get me Palomino at the Coliseum, and I'm going to finish him.
Yeah. The Coliseum.
That would be crazy. But
that would be one heck of an event, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Is that in your mind? You're already thinking of these kinds of fights?
Yeah, the guy who's running the BKFC Italy, he says he wants me on there already. He said, this is for gladiators, and you're a gladiator. We want you on. I was like, yes, let's go. I'm ready.
Just as Gladiator 2's coming out as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, true. So that'll be a good time.
Is there anything that you've not shared with us about that experience in Marbella that you think people would love to know that I've not asked you about?
Just what an amazing place Marbella is. We was just treated like kings for 2 weeks. We got all the gyms, facilities for free. Everyone was just amazing. Like there was just banners everywhere. Around Marbella, it was on big like screens everywhere. It was like there was banners on lampposts everywhere. It was just, my face was everywhere. I was like, this is crazy. And
looking up and seeing yourself on.
It's a surreal moment.
Wow.
And it was just everywhere, plastered everywhere in Marbella. It's like the biggest thing Marbella has seen in a while. And to be a part of that is just something else. But yeah, it's incredible. I just wish it never ended. Yeah,
you can see why fighters keep fighting, I guess, can't you? That maybe it's time to stop, but just go again because of that high that they get, and then how the challenges come after professional sport with that. Where's that high come from?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can see Conor McGregor doesn't compete anymore, or he isn't doing it at the moment. His high probably comes from being there, but it's still not the same as stepping into the ring. It's a gap that I guess needs to be filled, doesn't it, at some point, somehow?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. That high feeling, obviously, you always come down with a low with it, but that high feeling, you just can't replicate anything else. Like, when you're on like, obviously, I'm in Marbella Arena having a one-on-one bare knuckle fight with a legit world champion. Like, there's not much real feeling that you're gonna get to that. It's just, it's crazy.
All them 16 years that you've been through, or you know, the health issues. I mean, you'd have had the health issues anyway. You just probably not made it as easy for yourself with constantly competing too soon, ripping your stomach open, and all these, you know, falling off cliffs. And people haven't listened to the first episode, they'll hear about you falling off cliffs, smashing your head, and all of these things. All of those 16 years, if you had that choice right now to go back 16 years and go through all that tough stuff that you've been through for that 5 rounds in Marbella, is it worth it for 16 years, a decade and a half plus, for that one? Would you go through all of that again for that one night in Marbella?
I would, yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, it makes me feel sick thinking about it, but yeah, it's been worth it.
Yeah.
It's been worth just not giving up and just, you know what I mean, just pushing through them hard times. When you feel like it's game over, it's never game over. It's just, it's always them bad times always lead to something good, and obviously a high leads to something low. But when you're in a dark time, there's always good comes out of it. You just can't. If you give up, it's gonna be crap all the time. But you've just got to push through them dark times. That's all it is.
And your story epitomizes that, really, doesn't it? When the amount of dark times that you've had,
yeah,
you know, you've had loads of dark times, haven't you?
Yeah,
really tough times.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when I saw you on that stage after our conversation, when I was listening to all these dark times, and then you can see you going face to face, and McGregor's there with the belt, and you're like, wow. It shows, it's evidence that you keep going, and that's what can happen. Not everyone's going to get on that platform or that stage, but everyone's platform stage different, isn't it? It might be a business, it might be a relationship, it might be anything at all, it might be traveling the world. But to watch you there, to know what you've been through all those years, it shows that good people, you do get there when you keep going.
100%.
So
definitely.
I'm full of admiration and respect for you. When I saw you today and you said, should we do a bit of get your gum shield out? It was interesting, Rico. Yesterday, when I was thinking about meeting you today, I was thinking to myself about sparring with you, you know, for a bit of fun in a gym. And I was thinking, I'd rather spar with you than someone that doesn't know what they're doing, because when you spar with someone that doesn't know what they're doing, it's dangerous, because they can just throw big massive punch. Where with you, I wouldn't feel threatened, because I just know you're not going to, you know,
exactly,
you're controlled punchers, where a novice can just smash you.
You don't know what's coming.
No, not that I want to do that, Rico, but I would love to come to the gym and see you in action there, and I look forward to supporting you for the rest of your career and being around you for the rest of your life. You're an admiration. Certainly, I'm full of admiration for you, what you've been through, and what you're becoming all the time. And to see you leading the way like you are, mate, for the local communities and beyond, it's really great. To see you on the stage with Conor McGregor, a world like he's like a Hollywood movie star, and you're Snapchatting him and Instagram. It's just brilliant. So thanks so much for keeping going, and thanks for coming on here once again today, mate. You're a real privilege to know. Thank you, Rico.